The following is paid programming and is operated and produced independently. The current views and opinions expressed belong solely to the operators and do not represent the views or opinions of Family Flavors, The Slide, WBN, Inc., its affiliates, its sister companies, or respective companies which these individuals are affiliated or have been previously affiliated. The program's participants' opinions and content are based upon information they consider reliable, but neither Family Flavors, The Slide, WBN, Inc., nor its affiliates warrant its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be considered as such. All rights to the media broadcasted on this platform belong solely to the copyright owners of said media. Family Flavors, The Slide, WBN, Inc., and its affiliates do not make claims to own the media broadcasted on our network. Or have been previously affiliated. Participants' opinions and content are based upon information they consider reliable, but neither Family Flavors, Slide, WBN,
Always before the show.
Oh, what do you mean?
or accurate.
I used to present.
He's gonna 12 hyped up. Watch.
Yeah.
I already know.
Go on stage.
Not make claims to own the media broadcasted on our network.
And 5, 4.
It's Motivation Monday, guys. Happy, what is today's date? Today is April the 12th, 13th, 11th, 10th, 11th. We'll go to the 11th. I hope everybody's having an outstanding day wherever you are listening to, whether it be on Spotify, whether it be on iTunes, whether it be wherever it is, Facebook. Welcome, Facebook Live. We have in studio today the privilege of having Ann Easton, Courtney Rather, and Cora Rather here in studio. Our first baby participant. Welcome to On With Ron. Yay! You know, we're so excited. As always, on Motivation Mondays, we have myself starting from 8 to 10. Then we're followed by the incomparable Rachel Stovall, who has Rachel's Roundtable coming on from 10:30 to 11:30. Then we have Frank Sinclair. We have Titus Kleppinger later on in the day. And don't forget about Miss Mary Gaucher today. Motivation Mondays, and we're about getting that blood pumping today. So one of the things we wanted to talk about, as always, is our gratitudes. You know, there's so many things going on in the world right now. We have wars going on. We have inflation going on. We have housing prices going out of control. But the one thing we do have control over of is ourselves. And really, it's an important time to just really allow yourself to just take a deep breath. And realize that in today's day and today's time, the only thing that you can really truly affect is your intentions. And as you're sitting and you're thinking about the intentions that you're setting for yourself today, make sure they work for you. Because whether they work for you or not, it's you that's causing those things to happen. So let's get this day started on Motivation Mondays, On With Ron. So being your host, I get the privilege. I could talk about Ann and I could talk about Courtney all day long, but the thing I'm going to talk about first is Miss Cora. Hi, Cora! I remember when I first met you, you were just like a little thing, and now you're like almost people. One of these days, I'm going to have you back on the show, and we're going to refer back to this show when you were just little people, and you're going to be like, da, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And then you're going to be like, I'm running for President of the United States, right? Mm-hmm. Do whatever you want to do, girl. You can do it.
Yeah.
So I could get caught up in the baby syndrome and everything forever, but in studio today, we have Ann Easton and Courtney Rather. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, thank you.
How are you guys doing today?
Great, can't complain.
No?
Yeah, no, busy drive-in, but otherwise doing amazing, you know, living life.
You know what, being a Californian, I'm used to that crazy drive-in, but I'm noticing a lot of people that are from Colorado for a while, they're getting used to it. We're invading this place.
Surely.
We're invading this place, man.
Yes.
For sure. So I just want to really introduce you guys to my sphere. So I'll start off with Ann, because you're here on this side. So Ann, you're with Reaching Out LLC.
Yes.
And just, where'd you start life? Where'd you come from?
Well, I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and went to school there, graduated from there, had a degree in special education and psychology, and then I went back and got a degree, a master's degree in education administration. Some of those things I'm not using today, but I still have them. And then I moved to Colorado, I moved to Denver for a little while, and with a new job change I moved to Houston and worked for Compaq when Compaq was there for 5 years, and then they merged and I moved back up here, and then I went back to teaching because that fell apart, and then I've been doing other things until I found this particular, made my own thing and started doing electronic business tools.
Fantastic, fantastic. You know, my family's from Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Like you said, New Mexico. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are we family? Talk
Yeah,
to me.
we are. Well, there's only 12 of us from New Mexico, so we must be family.
Right, exactly. You know, I was doing that that DNA thing that you do online, and I was like, nah, no, I'm just kidding. Courtney Rather, where you come from? Talk to us.
Yeah, so I was born in Cottonwood, Arizona, small town, 30 minutes south of Sedona. And moved to Colorado Springs with my family when I was 6 years old. So I have been in the Springs for about 22 years now. So I like to say that I'm a Colorado native, and we've moved around different places in the Springs, but it's mostly just been here. I always joke around that maybe I'll move around some different state, but I'll probably always end up in Colorado.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Colorado's a beautiful place. I
Mhm.
remember when I first made the decision to come out here, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a Denver Bronco fan. I was in California, a Denver Bronco fan, and you know, everybody's a Raider fan, a Charger fan. Well, actually, I don't know if there's a such thing as a Charger fan, you know, but a 49er fan. Charger fans are like unicorns, you know what I mean? Like, do you ever really see one, right?
Exactly.
But growing up, I went to the Raider Bronco games and stuff, and people
yeah.
would throw beer at me, spit at me, and all
Oh.
these sorts of things.
Because you were the one with the Broncos.
Brought the Bronco gear, right? So it was like having a bullseye, you know, boom. And so it was always like I felt destined. And a little side story, my brother and John Elway went to high school together.
Oh, wow.
And my brother was his running back. And so John used to come to my house when I was a little boy, but I was already a Bronco fan. And so as growing up, being a Bronco fan, John Elway went to my favorite team and became one of the greatest Broncos of all time. So that's my little side
Yeah.
story there. I always got one of those for you
Yeah,
guys.
That's awesome.
it is awesome.
And Miss Cora, where'd you come from?
She was born in the Springs, August 10th. So yesterday she celebrated her 8-month.
8 months.
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
8 months. This is the first time we've had a baby on with Ron. And Cora, we're going to track your progression, girl.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you guys, we met not too long ago. I've known you for about a year. I've known you for about 6 months, 5 or 6 months or so. And it's kind of cool because we get a chance to go to networking events and things of that sort. What made you decide to get into your business and Easton?
Well, so having been a special education teacher, I have a need to help people. So I found a way to help nonprofits by building them a team so that they can have residual income coming in, and that way I can support them. And that way I feel good about that. So I've got 2 or 3 nonprofits that I'm slowly building so that they can have that residual income so they can do what they do best and not have to worry about how to fund it. So that's my end goal.
Fantastic.
So,
And Miss Courtney Rather,
Yes.
you are into animals and getting them
Yes.
to feeling good with unique paw tensions. Did I do it right?
Yep, you did.
Okay, so I'm trying to do these things. So how did you get involved in working with animals with
Yeah,
regards to massage?
so I graduated Falcon High School, did their Health Academy program, so I knew that I wanted to help in some way or another. I graduated with my CNA certification, EMS, that's Emergency Medical Services, and shortly after high school realized, I like animals a lot more. So went to school to become a certified veterinary technician, have been doing that for about 8 years. Then started working closely with a doctor that did acupuncture, so I saw more of the holistic alternative side of things, and I just fell in love with helping animals in a different way. So became a certified canine massage therapist. I've been doing that for about 3 years now, and then I felt that the animals were not having as well of an experience with having to come into the vet clinic because they were just so anxious that maybe they were going to get a shot or get surgery or something. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to be able to do this in the comfort of people's homes. So that's why I started up my own business in October of last year. So
Congratulations.
That's wonderful.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then you had Cora. Well, actually,
Well,
you had Cora
Yep.
first, and then you decided to do this. And
Yeah.
so we're going to talk specifically about each one of your businesses in the next segment, but I just want to really acknowledge you both for being in our community, being very good strategists inside of our community as far as when you're talking about your businesses. I really see you strategizing with this can really help you out, and I just really want to acknowledge you for being a part of this community. And that's the reason why I had you guys on the show,
Well,
is
thank you
because
for
I
having
want you
us.
guys to bring it. You know, it's Motivation Mondays.
Yeah.
We're getting after it today. So, you know, we have Trinity on the boards looking very summer festively in this 29-degree weather. Good job, Trinity. You know, we're out here and we're promoting our new banner. You know, if you guys are on Facebook, you'll get a chance to see the On with Ron banner. This is the first time it's been displayed, ladies, so you guys are the first.
Yay.
We'll take a picture with this thing later on and just like
Nice.
captivate it. And Miss Corey, you're gonna be in it too.
Yay.
You know, whenever you have the baby in the background, it always works. It always works.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna get more depth dialed in with regards to your businesses and everything like that. Motivation Mondays, you're on with Ron. My name is Ron Young. I'm your host. Super excited to come back and talk more with Ann Easton, Courtney Rather, and Cora Rather. We'll be back in just a minute.
Unknown of who to contact.
Was that painless enough?
That's
Yeah,
nice.
that was great. I love it.
Defense is more than
Nice
simply
and
a word
painless.
with the
Yeah.
power of house of the law offices.
Oh, I might feel pain later, you know, how you go through and you're in shock, you don't feel anything, and then at the end you go,
Right.
fall apart then.
I did my first little lunch and learn at this vet clinic about at the beginning of March, and I was so nervous. Oh my gosh! And I think I blacked out during the whole entire thing because I don't remember anything. And then at the end, I was like, okay, and we're back.
It's called survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the show is I look to make it more interactive so that you guys, like, it's just us having a conversation.
Exactly.
Right? And we just happen to have microphones and like video and
Things like that.
a few thousand people across the world watching. I don't know, you know.
Who knows?
Okay, now we're.
Well, one of these days there'll be millions and millions and millions of people. Laura, I'm waiting for you to smile. That's what I do. I'm just trying to check it out. Yeah! There it is.
Awesome.
She's going, yeah.
I'm surprised that she's not like, ah! She was screaming in the car. She was throwing her elephant. It's like, okay,
You're
you
like,
need to
I
go to
can't have,
sleep.
right, I can't have you on air with that.
Yeah. It's like, get your energy out now. You're fine.
Well, we'll just take a little walk here.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes by so quick. My daughter, she's 18 years old, and like I remember when she first was born, her head was right here and her feet was right here. She was 4.5 pounds, so she was tiny, tiny.
Yeah.
And now she's still tiny, but she's 18-year-old tiny. You know?
Yeah. I was 4.5 pounds when I was born too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 5 pounds, 2 ounces. So she was pretty small. When she left the hospital, she was a little under 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought she was gonna have to go to the NICU because she was supposed to be born in the end of September, and she was born in the beginning of August.
Yeah, so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I blame it on, I was sick the whole entire 9 months of being pregnant, so I did not get like any nutrients or anything. And I actually like lost 15 pounds like the first trimester which was just so horrible. And so that's why I had to quit working at the animal hospital because of being so sick and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? And it was kind of a blessing in disguise because this animal hospital that I was at, I was having some issues anyways, and so I was like,
Would you do it again? You don't know if you'd have
maybe
another
in
one?
like 10 years when I forget.
Don't wait too long.
I know. Maybe like 5. I try and like tell my husband, I'm like, can we just adopt? Like, if you want to carry the baby, by all means. Like,
Fine with me.
When you figure that one out,
Yeah.
you'll be a gazillionaire, okay?
They say that like it's a 50-50 chance that it will happen again, like the hyperemesis and everything, but it destroyed me.
We're sorry about that part.
Yeah. But then she came out and it's a blessing.
Yeah.
The moment that she was out of me, it cured my sickness. So and it's weird because I haven't really, like, I had a little bit of a cold, but I haven't really been sick since, which is nice.
Yeah.
My ex-wife, she had, my daughter started coming at 20 weeks, like right after you take the diabetic gestation
Oh,
thing. My daughter started coming, so they had to put my ex-wife on progesterone. I think progesterone starts with a P,
Progesterone.
something like that.
Uh-huh.
It's,
And so like
Yeah, that like
Pitocin.
Pitocin, yeah.
Oh.
Bad to do that.
Yeah, so that my daughter didn't come. Like we're at Carrabba's,
Yeah.
and I remember my ex was like, "The baby's coming." I'm like, "I know you don't want to be pregnant and everything like that, but the baby's not coming." She's like, "No, I'm serious. The baby's coming." So we took her to the hospital. They're like, "The baby's coming." And I'm like, "I'm getting ready to give birth to a Barbie. You got to figure that out." So they.
wow. Yeah. I was just anxious to join the world, that's all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, my best friend found out that she was pregnant when she was 5 months pregnant, and I was like, "What? You didn't know?" I knew when I was like 4 weeks. Like that's when the sickness started.
Okay, so I got a crazier story than that. One of my friends, he introduced me to this guy. This girl was pregnant and didn't know she was pregnant. All of a sudden she goes to the doctor, like, my stomach hurts, and gives birth to the baby, like right then, 9 months pregnant. Like you would have
Oh my
never known she was
gosh.
pregnant. She had a relationship with this one guy. They had broken up, and she was in a whole nother relationship with this other guy.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so that was like a weird phenomenon, but he's been a fantastic father to the kid and everything like that.
That's
So
good.
Wow.
welcome back. It's Motivation Mondays. You're on with Ron. I'm your host, Ron Young. I'm the branch manager with Contour Mortgage. And today I have the great pleasure of having in studio Ann Easton, Courtney Rather, and Cora Rather. Welcome, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
You know, in the first part of the show, we were talking a little bit about Ann and Courtney, and now we're going to get a little bit more in depth. And I started with you on the first segment. That was to get all the butterflies out, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go with you to start off about unique paw tensions. I know that.
Yes.
Right? So there it is. Cora, I didn't say I was going to talk to you yet. I was just like, I'm going to talk to mommy. So you got into the animal field right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so unique paw tensions, like what is the specific benefits to animals in having that type of treatment?
Yeah, so I provide a very unique experience for your pets in the comfort of their home. Provide massage therapy, which is really beneficial. Not every animal benefits from massage. If they are walking around, they have muscles. So everyday living can be really hard, running around, jumping, rough playing with their housemates or friends at the park. Even the act of growing is really painful. So with the massage, it helps manipulates those muscles, joints, ligaments, so that the body can better communicate with each other.
And you work more with dogs than you do
I
any
do.
other animals, right?
I do, yeah. But with becoming an animal aromatherapy specialist as well as veterinary cannabis counselor, I am able to work with dogs and cats. And I hopefully will soon become a feline bodywork practitioner as well. So
Wow.
be able to work on both of those.
Wow, and in working with dogs, do you work with all gamuts of dogs, like all
Yeah.
types of dogs?
As small as a tiny little, I have a 4-pound Chihuahua that I do massages on. I also have a patient that is a 140-pound Great Dane. So all ranges. If they have muscles, then they would benefit from a massage.
What about more dangerous dogs like
Yeah.
Rottweilers and Dobermans and things
Yeah,
like that?
so I feel like I am really good at listening to their body language, and my energy goes well with some of those anxious, more aggressive type dogs. And if needed, we will use like a basket muzzle. So if they are very aggressive, then we'll start with going very slow. And that's why for the first appointment, I like to start with just talking to the owner so that the animal can smell around me, kind of get used to me, and then we can move on to just an intro massage.
So do you do the dog whisperer thing or something like that, where
Kind
you
of,
walk in
yeah.
and you're like, I'm not afraid of you, come on with
Exactly.
it? Or like,
Yeah. I mean, I also use a lot of, so I use music therapy that's specially designed for dogs. I also will incorporate some aromatherapy or dog pheromones as well. I have some plugins that I put into the wall. So while we're talking, those pheromones are already coming into the room and everything.
do those work on humans?
Kind of, not really. More of the aromatherapy really helps, but
All right,
yeah.
all right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to bounce back to you in just a
Yeah,
second.
sounds
Ann
good.
Easton, Reaching Out LLC. So talk to us. I know that you have this electronic business card that you're working on real heavily right now. Talk to us about it.
Well, the electronic business card is, well, I have a lot of fun making them. Everything is completely customizable, and there's no co-branding whatsoever, so it's all about you. And we can put anything on there, we put your business card on there, put all your information. And it's great because if you make a change in your phone number or address, we can update it within like a minute and a half. So it's real easy to do that as well. And it's great because if you don't have your business cards with you, you have your business cards with you. You never have to remember them. And I know I get, food on my business cards, and that way I don't have to worry about it with my electronic one because I can't get food on it, so.
Well, you're walking around with this iPad and everything like that. Do you ever get food on the iPad?
Well,
I'm just messing with
truthfully,
you. I'm just messing with you.
occasionally, yeah, I have been known to do that, yes.
So, with regards to the business cards, like, you can create a network of people inside of your, like, good referral base and everything like that. So tell us more about that. Because, like, a lot of people will hear that you can do the electronic card and why should I do that versus a regular business card. So,
Right, well, this particular card has with it additional parts where you can do a CRM and you can do two-way texting so that you can actually build a community and keep in touch with them very, very quickly and easily. And that way, if you've got, like a meeting in 2 minutes, well, maybe not 2 minutes, tomorrow you can get that information out there very quickly and easily. And texts are read about 94% of the time, whereas emails are read about 11% of the time. So it's a good way to communicate with people on anything you need to really communicate with.
right, I was just looking at my email thread. I have a Yahoo account. I haven't looked at emails in there. I have like 49,000 unread emails. I am never reading all. How do you just super delete? Super delete.
I can
Right?
show you how to do that.
You can show me how to
I
super
can show
delete.
you how to do that.
So you can start another nonprofit right there. Like, there are people just like me out there that you have 49,000 plus emails. Call Ant and get it all hooked up, right?
Yep, I can do it.
Cora, you're just so cute. What do? You just you should be on the Baby Gerber commercials. Like,
Yeah.
you're like right?
She's been told that she's like a Gerber baby.
Right. Like, I just said it wrong, but I was like, yeah. So, with animals, I have a little puppy. His name is Bronco.
Of course.
That's right. It's the cutest thing ever. I'll show you. Like Cora, you got some competition because Bronco's really cute. Okay, you're gonna have the awe moment in just a second. But so with animals, when they're doing these type of treatments, how do they respond? Like, what kind of things can you expect back from them?
So, with being a massage therapist, I can feel their actual muscles relaxing in my hands. They also, every animal is different how they're going to respond. Some think it's very relaxing and they fall asleep, sometimes snore, drool, lots of yawning, very soft eyes. And other times they may be very painful in certain areas and they don't. Oh, how cute. Showing us a picture of his dog,
This
Bronco.
is Bronquito.
How cute.
Oh, he is so cute.
But yeah, sometimes some dogs, they sit there and they will tell me, like, I let them stand up and get around if the pressure is too much, but they'll turn around and look at me and I'll know, okay, that's a sensitive area. I should let up my pressure a little bit, or I'll work on a different area to get them more calm. And it may be the first time I can't touch them in painful areas. And so it's just all about building that trust with the animal to be able to get them to a point where we can work on some of those sensitive areas.
So the $1 million question for me to everybody out there is, who should have their pets treated in this way?
Yeah, so I work a lot with animals that are having mobility issues. So number one, if you notice that my dog limps every once in a while, but when we take x-rays, it doesn't show anything. Or my dog has hip arthritis and it's shifting its weight forward and it's putting a lot of weight on its shoulders and front legs. I do a lot of those. But also I work a lot with preventative care and wellness. So massage is beneficial for just helping circulation of the body, help draining some of that extra fluid buildup in certain areas, just so the dog can have a more balanced state of mind and body.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And with regards to people in the business community, right? Because a lot of people think that business cards are just for people in the business community.
Right.
What about people that are entrepreneurs or people that are
Yeah.
just out there advocates of, like, I want to get connected? What does your business cards do for them?
Well, it allows you to put your whole life on your business card. It's actually a website on your phone, and you can put all the text you want. You can put brochures on it. You can put pictures on it. You can put videos on it. And you can have multiple pages. So if you have multiple businesses, you can have different pages for each business. So you can present your whole person in one place.
That's awesome.
Which is really nice, yeah. And you never have to carry around a whole bunch of stuff anymore. It's right there with you. And you can pass it off to somebody real easily with a QR code. I actually have a card you can touch the back of a phone with and it comes up on that. I have a ring you can touch and it comes up with that. And so it's really a good way to pass that on to somebody else. And then once you've got it, you can keep passing it on without any problem whatsoever. So it's a way to build referrals, it's a way to help people with their referrals, and it's also a way to just get your information out there in a different manner.
Awesome. So when a lot of people are thinking about, connecting, I have business cards, Ann has business cards and things of that sort, but we're kind of going to a new stream of
Right.
technology, right?
Exactly.
So what are some of the major benefits from people that you work with have said to you about what's going on with their transition to the data card as opposed to the traditional business card?
Mostly it's just that they can give their information very easily to the next person. You don't have to say anymore, oh, just go to my website, because how many people actually go to your website? Not very many.
Right.
So you've got your website with you everywhere, so you can just hand that out. And so it makes it so like you've stopped. The purpose of a business card is for people to put their information in your phone so that you can find them very quickly and easily, instead of looking at the piles and piles of cards that we all have and not being able to find anybody.
Right.
So if we all had an electronic business cards, the world would flow really nicely. We just share all of our information. And you can put all kinds of things on there. Like I have a whole section for referrals of people that I like that I want to refer to. So
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. We're in studio today. We have Ann Easton, Courtney Rather, and Cora Rather. So Cora, I'm going to get back to this because we're going to go back to this, and one day we're going to say, okay, Ron Young interviewed you first.
Yes.
There's never been anybody that's interviewed you first. So, Cora, so when you grow up, blink once if this is true or not. No, I'm just kidding. So when you grow up, I just want you to remember On with Ron, and I'm going to have you back on the show, okay? You promise to come back on? That's right. Atta girl. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute. We're going to pay some bills. It's part of Motivation Mondays. My name is... Welcome back. It is Motivation Mondays. My name is Ron Young. I'm your host. In studio with Mrs. Ann Easton, Mrs. Courtney Rather, and Ms. Cora Rather.
Yeah.
We've been talking in the break. We were talking about tattoos and the favorite places where you like to get them done. There's some places that I've got them done that I will not go there again. I promise you that, right? So we were talking about on the break. And Miss Cora, you do not get any tattoos, okay?
I know. Her grandma jokes around that she's going to take her for her first one.
Oh.
But it will be Mama.
Right. So, ladies, you've been so generous with talking about how everything works inside of the systems that you run. I just want to start to generate, people have a way of getting in contact with you. So if you can drop down your information, I'll start with you, Ann. What's the best way for people who can contact with you?
Basically just my email address, or just texting me is the best way, because then it comes into my phone and then I can put you on my stuff, on my information. So my email address is aeeaston77@gmail.com.
Give it one more time.
aeeaston77@gmail.com.
Perfect. And Mrs. Courtney Rather, how does someone get in contact with you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me personally on my phone number 719-654-3186. Again, that's 719-654-3186. Or you can check out my website, which is Unique Paw Tensions, as in a tense muscle, and uniquepawtensions.com. Or even Google me, Unique Paw Tensions, or just Canine Massage Therapist in Colorado Springs. Reach out to me multiple ways.
These ladies, what were you going to say?
Can I add? So I do have, my phone is my website, so the address is forreachingout.com.
Awesome, and that was Ann saying that right there, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
So, one of the cool things about this community is you get a chance to know people, and we got a chance to run with each other at one of our local networking groups for a while, where we helped the millions. I miss you guys in that regards, and the thing that I would like to throw out there is we need to build more community. We need to be out there talking more about puppies and how they can be able to feel good, because I think a lot of people, they love most people that have animals, they really love their animals, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the biggest challenge is that what else can I do for my animal?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I was curious about is what kind of healing faculties does this provide to the animal as far as elongating life and stuff like that?
So a lot of times people think that, oh, my dog is getting older, I'm going to start it on some anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen for dogs. Well, carprofen. Don't give ibuprofen to your dog. Just want to make that clear. Or different pain meds. And there are other things like massage that really help with slowing down the aging process and helping with some of those secondary muscle pain that you don't really think about when an animal is having joint pain. And so that really helps with that pain control and just a better quality of life. Make sure I work a lot with animals that are about to pass over the Rainbow Bridge and just helping them get to a more peaceful state of mind before they pass.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. And connecting people through businesses and networkings and things like that. Some people may have heard what you're talking about the business cards, and it's more of a luxury than it is a necessity, right? So take a little of that mystery out of that.
Well, I think initially, because it's a new concept, almost everything has been computerized or changed to a digital format except business cards. So it is new. And I would think it is a luxury as well, except that they're building now things that go with it. So that it becomes a way for you to have your complete business on your computer and your phone, so that you can actually be effective and know who your customers are and know how to reach them and be able to plan that. So it's a luxury now, but it's building and building and building so that it's going to be an essential part of your life.
That is so fantastic. And Cora, you're going to set the bar really high, because for babies being on the On with Ron show, you have been incredibly, incredibly awesome. So you're going to be the prototype that if you bring babies on the show, I want you to watch this playback right here, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely.
So the one thing that's super cool about this show is it goes by really fast. Like, you thought that it was going to take forever. It's already here. We're already at time.
Wow.
So I want to thank you ladies for being on the show today.
Yes, thank you.
And I didn't get a chance to hold Miss Cora, but if you would like to see, if you're on Facebook, check it out. You can let Ron Young babysit a little bit. How are you, Cora?
And Cora loves him.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You're such a cutie pie. So we're on with Ron. We come on Mondays from 8 to 10 in the morning. You want to say something? Not yet? Okay. In hour 2, we're going to be having Autumn Sains, who's going to be coming on, and she's going to be talking about real estate. As you know, on the show, we talk about life, wealth, and real estate. So in hour 2, we have Miss Autumn coming on the show. Again, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you get a chance to see On with Ron hugging and holding Miss Cora. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this again, okay? And when you come in, I want you to be like, meow, 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 and do all that stuff. It's all cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back. Hour 2 starts with Miss Autumn. It's Motivation Mondays. Welcome back. I'm Ron Young, your host. And in studio today, hour number 2, we have Miss Autumn Sains. Signs. I know.
Like stop signs.
Like, I think you my homegirl. How come I don't know that? I'm like sitting up there. I got nervous.
That's okay.
We're super excited to have her on the show. As we know, on the show, we talk about life, wealth, and real estate. And in hour 2, we're going to talk about real estate. I have the privilege of also being on Autumn's show. She does The Real Key. And on the 19th, I will be on her show. So look out for that coming up soon. But welcome to On with Ron, Miss Autumn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You don't come from these parts, so let's talk about it. Where are you from originally?
So I am from San Antonio, Texas.
Tejas.
Pew, pew.
See, a little known fact, I was created in Texas, in San Antonio at Lackland Air Force Base.
Wow.
See, a lot of people don't know that. My dad was Air Force, and he and my mom did some things in San Antonio, and then
Clearly.
May 6th of 1972, I decided to come out and say, I'm here, let's do some things, right?
The world changed. And then, the world had to say, we got to get on with Ron.
High
So
five, girl. Get it.
boom. Hashtag.
So you're from San Antonio, Texas, and how long have you been here in Colorado?
I've been here for 16 months. Really kind of linked to San Antonio for real estate. It is a military city, so being from Military City, USA, San Antonio, I thought Colorado Springs would be a good landing place to kind of expand the business.
It takes courage because you came out here by yourself.
Yeah, a U-Haul and hauling my car. I had to physically climb into it and drive it. It was windy. The whole U-Haul truck would actually just veer to the right. So I came in with a massive, right hand muscle coming in the whole way. But it was exciting. It's beautiful here. So a lot of adjusting, but many, many great people I've met, including you.
That's right. That's right. So, Autumn, the thing that I wanted to talk to you about most specifically is right now, real key. You're getting out there and you're getting after it and you're meeting people in the community and interviewing people. What inspired you to do that?
Well, when I came here, I really saw a difference in the real estate industry compared to San Antonio. It's a little bit more grown, a lot more networking together. Colorado is just expanding. Just seeing it really in the beginning is what brought me to Colorado to begin with. It's right in the beginning of some great stuff happening. So I had to be a part of it. But I realized that there really wasn't something that I really fit into, and seeing like how I could network with other people. So I figured just, make it. And so originally when I first moved here, my friend that helped me move, her name is Samantha, she actually lives here now as well. She helped me move on her birthday, and oddly enough, she moved to Colorado Springs on my birthday a year later. So she gave me a book, and in that book, she wrote, write down all the things that you want, to happen. This is your new start, good luck. So it was my moving gift, and it was really sweet. Well, in it, I started writing a YouTube idea, and I was thinking about how I was going to put a show together for real estate.
Wow.
And it sat there, and this started just about 2 months ago, going on 3 months now, and I just pulled that book out, and I told someone about it, and actually he's the person I've decided to incorporate the show with. It's Daniel Rodriguez. He's also a local realtor. We're with different brokerages, but I told him about it, and he was like, so when are you doing it? And he just was matter of fact, and I was like, next week? And I really didn't think it was going to come into something, but once it did, it wasn't really planned. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Well, I'm looking on Facebook, and all of a sudden I see this ad, not an ad, but it was like, this is coming up, and I'm like watching the show, and I felt captivated by it. I'm like, you guys are killing it right now.
Yeah, it's different. It's not here yet, and I feel like that was a part of the vision. I mean, I really want to. I'm a true believer in, becoming being the example that I would like to see, and things I want to be a part of. And a lot of people in the circle I'm connected with are like minds. I mean, when we first met, we actually met, just to let y'all know, through networking. Well, not really networking. Lunch.
Yeah, people were all together, different
Yeah.
groups of people were together,
Yeah.
and we just met, and we were like, that's my homie, right?
Yeah, we were the left out ones a little bit. We were just like, oh, hi, I guess we'll get to know each other. It was a great opportunity, so I'm very thankful for that day.
Yep. And, we're going to talk a little bit about Project 369
Yes.
a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit. Autumn, so like with regards to your business strategy,
Yes.
one of the things that we want to give back is to new realtors, people
Yeah.
that are coming into the community and wanting to get started. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what is it like being a new person here to Colorado, a new woman here to Colorado on her own, that's starting in the real estate business? Like, what does that look like to you?
It is nerve-wracking, and you see potential and with groups and brokerages and good people and good vibes that you want to connect with. But I think most importantly, being new as a realtor and being in the real estate industry, I think it takes time for you to actually know really who you are and what it is that you want to give out to the community. This is my 3rd year in real estate, and I will tell you, I was in my way a lot. So for a newbie, I would definitely say be open-minded and definitely get connected to some support, a team, a mentor. Those were things, I had prior experience with new builds. I sold construction homes for about almost 7 years. So I kind of built my ways. And so when entering real estate, there's really not exact how to do it. So be open to mentorship and people that will help you. Now, that's just the business part, but being in Colorado Springs, it takes it to another level of having to kind of get to the basics, get to the root and starting over. There's a lot of things simple stuff of scheduling out putting down your schedule, making simple calls, being effective with your time, but really connecting with people, just getting basically back to the basics is what it comes down to.
Right on. And you know, one of the things that's important is you said getting in your own way, right? It's like the proverbial Michael Jordan garden, Michael Jordan, right?
Well, funny you bring that up. During my transition of figuring out, obviously through brokerages and figuring out where Autumn's going to land here in Colorado Springs, who is Autumn a part of Colorado? I've gotten sat with very successful people, and I've heard a lot of feedback. I'm seeing how the industry has, is changing. There's different obstacles and things that weren't present before, so everyone's having to adapt. But there's one individual that I sat with, and no one wants to really hear the truth. But they said, Autumn, you love San Antonio Spurs. Do you think Tony Parker became Tony Parker because he was trying to be Tim Duncan?
Right. Wow.
No.
Right.
Tony Parker knew his place, and he knew what he had to do, and he knew what he was good at, and he made success and lots of money doing that. You don't know who you are yet. You have no clue. And that was like, wow. I was like, that don't faze me. I'm not going to act like that. Said, I'm listening. But it resonated. And then he said, Tim, quit being Tim Duncan. Find out who Autumn is. And, that I left and went through the day and went and networked and everything, and that just really sat with me. And it was a really hard thing to realize that although Autumn knows exactly what she's good at, I hadn't connected with what was my passion, what I was good at, and where I was heading. None of that was in line. So, sometimes we all have to, get out there and get out of your comfort zone and hear things you don't want to hear and face things you don't want to face. But once suddenly it clicked for me, those words made a lot of sense. And so it's a journey. You really have to figure out what are you good at, look yourself in the mirror and find your core and be that person. Real estate, I was like, oh, as a realtor, you have to do this. As a realtor, you need to do this. It's not the case. We're all individual people, and that's why with the Real Key, I really want to highlight not just like, hey, we're in this real estate industry. Yeah, we help each other build business, and we're helping people build dreams, but we are just people, and we're all really great people, bring good things to the table. So, highlighting not just their business, but who we are as a community, because at the end of the day, we're helping each other as a community. We are a community, and you don't really see people lifting each other up as much with what we've been through in the past. With COVID, all these challenges, like we're all just like independently just trying to get by. And I think we have lost the connection of just kind of listening and hearing and being a part of everyone's story. We're all threads of this tapestry. And in the big picture, it's
that was the first time anybody's used tapestry in this. So we had Cora in hour one, and now we have tapestry. So this is a good shot. We got to take a break. We're going to come back in just a minute. You're on with Ron, part of Motivation Mondays, and we have Miss Autumn Saenz on with Ron today. I'm Ron Young, your host. We'll be back in just a minute. It's Motivation Mondays. Welcome back. On with Ron. My name is Ron Young. I'm your host. Today, as a part of Motivation Mondays, you have myself from 8 to 10 every Monday, followed by Rachel Stovall, who comes in with Rachel's Roundtable. We have Frank Sinclair, the incomparable Frank Sinclair, that comes in with the Be Encouraged show. We have the Titus Kleppinger show that comes on, and the incomparable Mary Gaucher that comes in later on today. The doctor. Trinity, thanks for cueing me in, girl. I know what's going on. So, in studio today, we have Miss Autumn Saenz. She's a very good friend of mine and somebody that I'm incredibly inspired by. Welcome.
Thank you.
We talked about the early origins of Autumn and bringing it to here and playing a little defense against herself and everything like that. Wanted to open it up just a little bit. Like, one of the things that innately I love about Autumn is her openness. She is goofy as all get up. If you don't know Autumn, go on her Facebook and watch her impersonate Jennifer Lopez. Go, she is goofy as all get out. But she's real people. And it's awesome to see her really discovering her innate abilities to be able to affect change. And that's really awesome, and I'm a really big supporter of that. So good job.
Thank you, thank you.
So talk to us. I'm going to give you the floor for a minute. I'm going to just let you just roll for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm introducing you to our sphere, so I'm going to sit back, relax, put my feet up, and let you do your thing. Go.
Okay, so there I was on the court alone, spotlight right on me facing myself in the mirror, knowing, identifying what Autumn was in the real estate industry, and just kind of backing up on the Tony Parker and Tim Duncan story. That was a time where I really had to, come to terms with myself, but also who I was in the business. And so when that conversation came up, it was really out of the blue, really wasn't expecting to have coffee and a conversation like that. But ultimately, it was preparing me for my test of realizing who I was going to be in the industry. So, as a realtor, I've actually kind of taken a look at a lot of things. And again, being new, it's having to pivot and maybe transition a little bit. So right now I'm looking into getting out of the general real estate as far as my main focus. I'm still obviously a resource in general real estate, but my background comes from a medical background. I used to be a nurse aide. My family owned a home health agency. And to be honest, once I got involved, my family had me go to assisted living homes. And I found out that people that had patients in their homes, they could help patients not be in facilities, but, make residual income with buying real estate. And so originally that was how I got into real estate, because I wanted to be able to house my family. I'm the only daughter of my dad. My aunt has no children. My uncle has no children. And I promise you, not all of them are not going to live with me. So at a young age, I thought, how am I going to help them? And so I wanted to get into buying assisted living homes. Well, then I got into, I was in the medical field as a nurse aide. I realized this was very challenging. I got into new builds, got into general real estate, and I just lost all of that. My whole why and what I wanted. I got caught up in, the goals and the money and success, and the core, again, it wasn't there. It's always been there. It just hadn't come out. And so up until that moment when someone had, given me a challenging, not their opinion, it was true. It was an honest, true thing. To look someone in the eye and say, you don't know who you are, is kind of hard to say, but also hard to take. But it's for good value. Do we bring value when we connect with people? And even though it seems bad and harsh, it really brought value to me, because it realized who I was. And so now, with being as a realtor, I would love to adjust and transition into senior housing facilities. So that's something new. I haven't really talked to anybody about this yet, but this is where Autumn kind of come to terms with who she was. So it kind of makes full circle. It just kind of goes back to giving care and helping those that are in need. And I do that in everything I do with my real estate. I help first-time buyers. They don't know where to start. I give them education. I get them across the finish line. People that are in foreclosure, I help someone, avoid foreclosure, helping them avoid that. But I think what Autumn has come to terms with is who she wants to be in the real estate field. And I would love to help, go into the senior housing.
Yeah, the senior housing is a very untapped market. And I can see why you've held on to that for a little while, because it's like, ooh, I can get out there and get after it, right?
Yeah, it didn't make sense until the opportunity came. And when the opportunity came, I probably would have not even taken it. Be like, no. I figured out what I want to do as far as real estate. because that was hard for me as far as new builds and general real estate. I mean, in real estate, you're always going to be faced with challenges, mostly because you have to grow. And a lot of people like to be comfortable. So, as long as you're able to be adaptable and have successful people around you, that is so important. When I said, before I even knew this was all happening, one, I have my idea, okay, I'm getting rid of new builds, I'm going to focus on general real estate. I'm like, yeah, success there. Okay, I know. Then someone's like, oh, you think you know, but you don't know. And then it's like, oh, here's this opportunity. Now, I would have left, not even considered the opportunity, had those challenges not make me face, and then hearing those words, it was like, oh, well, now I know what this means. And so I had the opportunity to pivot, and it made a lot of sense. It made things very clear. The veil was lifted, and I was like, I know what I need to do in my career. Now, everyone has their own background. So it's like, if you're entering real estate, it's not like, what's my image? What's my brand? That all will come, who are you, really? I mean, to really sit and look yourself in the mirror and like just strip it down to the core, not a lot of people will do that. And my big thing is, a lot of people can't get as deep with other people or expect the same until they can do that to themselves. So it really does require inner work, not just what the daily grind is to get, my goals, to get success, to get the money, to get the things that I need.
And not what you think other people want to hear, because sometimes that's a big trap, is the people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a rule of thumb, it's like when you're confronted with someone, what somebody's putting on you, sometimes you can be like, oh shoot, I don't want to look bad, so I'll tell you this, but it's not in alignment with where you're at until it's in alignment with where you're at.
Yeah, and that's so true, because when I was in New Home Sales, when we had someone come in, they think they're just going to see a home, but we're going to build rapport with them. Like, we're not, we got to let them know we're not going to just just tell them, we want to know them. And so most times, what made people successful versus not in that field was they were just saying what they thought the customer wanted to hear. And a lot of times a lot of people want to say things that they feel that they themselves want to fulfill, or what people expect of them. And it doesn't fill the cup, and it's very empty. And so that's what it really comes down to, of no one cares really about what you have to say until they know you care. And in order for you to really know the baseline of caring and listening and bringing value to other people, it really comes from yourself.
Yeah, that's such an amazing, like anyone that's listening to this, like this is a deep dive, because I judge that this is something that's brand new for you. And so if you're listening to this show, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Spotify, iTunes, wherever the heck we are, Trinity, right? We're all over the place, right? Everywhere. So one of the things because I do men's work, and so like for my homies out there, I belong to a group called the Mankind Project. And one of the things that we have unveiled over time inside of myself is that our dads didn't get treated in a way that made them so they knew. So like once upon a time, tribes would take the little boy out and teach them how to hunt. Then the boy would make a kill, bring the kill back to the tribe, then the tribe would celebrate that you're now a man. And in our world nowadays, nothing like that exists. So boys are growing up not knowing if they're doing it all right. Then they become dads that don't know if they're doing all right, husbands that don't know if they're doing it all right, etc. And the thing that I just heard from you in that conversation is that as a woman dealing with what's going on in your world, it was like the ego was coming out, right? Because like it's hard to be told what to do.
Yeah, and especially when you're alone doing it by yourself, you depend and you're relying, you're surviving. So there is really not like, well, let me ask your opinion, and these are all new people around me. These aren't my roots I can make a phone call, but they don't understand. One thing I have learned moving from Texas to Colorado is, people are comfortable. it was my first time living outside of a state, and I was like, wow, like, it's so different. So, I mean, the simple things. I mean, even like food was tasting different. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm completely adjusting to something new. That alone, when you're on a brand new journey and wanting to, heal and grow and be, really be the best of yourself, when you're faced with simple things like, oh my God, this food tastes so different. It's so weird because you're really having to begin from the beginning. You're starting over. And what most people do is they have an opportunity to start over and they repeat the same mistakes. And they don't realize that. I was that person. I've been the same person. I've been on my own since I was 17. I've been trial error, learning how to, and I've always ended up being successful. But it's because I have, one, faith in God. I also have a resilient spirit. I've had tremendous support from, mom and dad. Even though it's more of, they have no doubt in me. They don't have to worry. Autumn will figure it out. But all these things really do become a factor of what kind of decisions you make. And the most important one I've learned is putting the right people around you. And when I went through my whole, I'm going to go through these brokers and I'm going to go through these teams, all I kept saying is, I'm going to be with the best. I am the best. I'm going to be with the best. And I said that and didn't know what I was really saying. But the more I said it, look where I am now. I really could have made my decisions and been in my way and had my ego and said, Autumn's this, Autumn has to do this in my business. Says who? Says the other competitors? Says the managing brokers? Like, says who? We really need to realize we're narrating our own stories and we gotta make sure we're aligned right, because for me, I was surviving and I went through stress, divorce, moving, starting over. So sometimes you're not in the right place, and then when you start making decisions and moving forward on things that are making you want to move forward, like success and the people who you're around, you want to plug in. If you're not in the right place, it's going to be very challenging, and no one's going to be feeling it but yourself. So it really comes down to a point of, who am I? Who do I want to be around? And being the best person every day, even if it's 1%. If I could do something, if I held a door for someone, that was one thing that I didn't do for someone yesterday. You don't have to have a line full of successful goals to be successful. I mean, most people can't even talk to them, really feel their own feelings. Some people can meet someone they love or know something, and they just won't do it, and they walk away and lose opportunities of a lifetime. And I won't lie, I've been there. But if it hadn't been for the people I had put myself around during this new transition, I could have easily fell through the cracks and just kind of been settled and gotten by and really wouldn't have grown. So,
Man, so this is Motivation Mondays. My name is Ron Young. I'm your host. Also, I have Autumn Signs here, who is the host of The Real Key. And right now she's breaking it down. If you guys are not getting this message, just go back and rewatch it on Family Flavors The Slide on the network. You can watch it back on Facebook. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back here in a moment with more Autumn. See you in a second. Welcome back. It's Motivation Mondays. My name is Ron Young, and you're on with Ron. And today we have Ms. Autumn Signs with us today.
hey.
And I'm just so inspired by her and her story. And if you're out there and you're listening to the show today, just take it in. Like, I've watched a little bit of this lady's journey, and it's pretty cool. Like, my wife, she comes from Poland. And so I'm coming from Poland. I'm so incredibly inspired by her every day. She came from Poland to here just on a whim. And then eventually we end up being together. And then our kids are supposed to be our kids. And it's so weird, right? Well, Autumn and I, we become friends like that, like homies. Like, that's my home girl. And I'm just hearing some of the stuff that she's talking about, and it's like stuff that I've noticed. And we start talking about Project 369. We start talking about just really being our word and integrity. And the struggle is real. If you're watching the show today, you know the struggle is real. Because every day we're sitting in our thoughts of like, I want to do this, but. Or I could accomplish this, but. And so today's show is motivational because I see Autumn breaking through the butt, and that kind of came out wrong. That kind of came out wrong.
What do you say through the butts? Break it through the butts.
Break it through the butts.
There it is.
And so the thing that is,
Well, it's autumn bottom. What can I say?
apple bottom.
It's with the fire.
So the thing that we're looking to do is we're looking to provide motivation on these Mondays so that when you're sitting there and you're listening to the show, whether it's live, whether it's down the line, or right when it's supposed to happen, you can glimpse a little bit of inspiration about what it is that's possible for you. And so Autumn, you've been dabbling in this self-exploration of finding out who Autumn is. How does that feel to you?
It's empowering, and you'll be surprised how you speak to people. Before, I used to be like, well, you know, I just got here, and Ron would be like, come on, Autumn, your vibes are low. Come on, girl, get it together. You know, I'm like, well, I wasn't sure because I have these down, and then, you know, and I had, you know, and so I now feel a major difference. You know, I talk with conviction. You know, I'm like, yeah, like there's a fulfillment in this core that just radiates through it. So when connecting to that, I mean, people not only hear you, they feel you, they pick up your energy. And so, you know, I'm a very strong person. I consider myself very strong and a fighting spirit. I'm a warrior, spirit warrior, I would say. But I've had my challenges, and I get down, and, you know, I wonder, gosh, you know, I am very strong and can lift myself up. And I think about those that aren't as strong like that. And that gives me reason and wise to also have a platform where you can message or watch, or I could say something and it can relate to someone. Because we're all figuring out our journeys, and, you know, I wouldn't be able to figure out my pieces of journey if I had not connected with the few people that either are or will not be in my life. So it's just really kind of being open to the idea and just really grounding yourself. That Project 369, you know, it's really coming down to writing down, because you really think about what the real key was. I just jot that down. But imagine if I had just kept feeding it and writing it and manifesting that. But now that didn't happen, because now that I know exactly and I have a strategic plan and I have a clear vision, now I can implement all those things and know it. Because before, to be honest, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure who I was. I wasn't sure if I was a new construction, if I did, you know, first-time buyers or luxury homes. Because in real estate, you can do anything, and it's super awesome. But you have to definitely do your research and you know, think long term.
And knowing who you are isn't just strictly about your business. It's more from the core, right? Of just understanding when the door knocks. Like I always use the analogy, if you were a toy at Toys R Us, right? And there was a push here button, what do? You know, that's the core that we're talking about today. So if you're listening to that and then you hear the push here button and all of a sudden you start doing the robot or, you know, whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
There's a reason why God put you on this planet we call Earth right now. And whatever that press here button is, just go in exploration for it. So you make sure that when that little kid pushes that press here, you don't disappoint.
It's so true. It's so true. And, you know, I would try to press that button, and I didn't even know. I was scattered. I was like, what am I doing? Who am I again? And although I had most confidence, and I was, you know, go-getter, and you know, it's one thing to be proficient and efficient, you know, but when you're kind of scattered and all over the place, you can give a lot of good to everyone else, but at the end of the day, you're depleted. Where are you? So you really have to build that core of knowing that. But my button now, I can sit there and say, Autumn Signs, you know, and I help individuals and companies buy, sell, develop, operate, and finance senior housing across the United States.
Wow. That was like conviction right there. I got it, girl.
Yeah. So it comes to a point of, this is who I am, and it feels great once you get to it.
Yep. And so one of the things that's exciting about that is if you're looking at real estate opportunities to connect with a realtor, how does one get in contact with you, Miss Autumn?
Well, you can just go on to YouTube. I have all our videos starting with The Real Key. You can kind of watch our timeline just to get to know what we are. You can always write there. We also are on Instagram at TheRealIs_Key. And we also have the Facebook page, group page, The Real Key. Now, REAL is abbreviated and it stands for Real Estate Education and Leadership. So you want to put like R.E. And it'll come up. But again, The Real Key is all about having opportunities and opening the door. And the real key is in your hand. And all you have to do is unlock it. And that's what The Real Key is all about.
You see that brother
Get
with
locked
the largest arms in the world, me and my Hulkamaniacs. No, I'm just kidding. There's always going to be a wrestling reference in there somewhere, Trinity, too.
Always.
You know, it's such an honor to have you on the show. Like, we've been talking about it for a minute. And like you said last week, you're supposed to be here. And it didn't happen, but it happened perfectly because you were supposed to be here today.
Yeah, knowing exactly, because literally that last week I was in a different scenario, so it's great. I'm glad I had the clarity. It all worked out.
Yeah, and so I encourage you, if you have not seen Autumn's show, at least next Tuesday, April 19th, come and check us out because I'll be on her show and she'll be interviewing me and I'll be the one that'll be like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? And all this sort of stuff and everything. But I will talk. I promise I will talk. I will
Just be
deliver.
you, Ron. You're amazing.
So one of the things that I would just ask is, what would you like to leave off for the people that are watching? Like, what's one thing that you want them to remember, that if today was the last day ever that anybody ever talked to you, what's one thing you would like to leave for them? Don't put me on the spot, Ron.
Well,
I'm
there's
sorry.
a lot of things that I would like to say, and I'm trying to sum it up into a short summary here. But at the end of the day, remember who you are first and where you come from and what makes you you. No matter what you do, you can't make a mistake. You just have to remember who you love, and it has to be yourself first and foremost. But if you can just think each day at each time and take your time and be patient and just have, love in your heart, whatever you decide to do will not be wrong.
That's some good stuff right there.
Tissue?
So, as always, on with Ron. We start off Motivation Mondays from 8 to 10. I'm your host here. I'm the branch manager with Contour Mortgage. My NMLS number is 1597399. Coming up at 10:30, we got Miss Rachel Stovall that will be breaking it down with Rachel's Roundtable, followed by the incomparable Frank Sinclair, who, if you have not heard that man speak, come and get the vibrations going right, because that's who does it. Then we have Titus Kleppinger that'll be in later this afternoon, and the incomparable Dr. Mary Gaucher coming in today. So we're super excited to be able to be a part of your Mondays. Tune back in with me next week from 8 to 10. Don't forget to watch me on The Real Key. How do they check us out on your platform? Like, what's the best way for them to connect, to watch the show?
On Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook. Follow the Facebook group page, Instagram, or YouTube. Just look up The Real Key.
And Autumn is AUTUMN, and Signs is SAENZ. So don't forget about that. So definitely follow her. Thank you so very much for tuning in today as part of Motivation Monday. And also notice, if you're looking on Facebook, we have our own banner now. We're doing some things. On with Ron, morning show from 8 to 10. We'll see you guys soon. Talk
Thank
to
you
you.
for having me, Ron.
You're welcome.